Other lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. We're going to be talking about the Arsenal midfield situation. Arsenal have started working on the Mikel Merino deal that has been confirmed by the Telegraph. We're going to be diving into that story. Arsenal are also still expected to go back and bid for Bruno Guimarães. Arsenal are still prioritizing getting a number 6, although now a number 8 is highly likely that a number 8 is highly likely that will also arrive. So there's a possibility that we could end up with 2 midfielders, or we could end up with 1, and that will be a number 8 rather than a number 6. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. There's a lot going on with regarding Arsenal's midfield future, especially with these transfers. Looks like we are a little bit undecided about the opportunities on the market. We are a little bit undecided of what we want to do. I think it's a market that Mikel Arteta has decided we are going to do market opportunities. And still, just like the attack, just like the defense, the midfield could also depend on market opportunities. If Arsenal feel we have better market opportunities in midfield, in the number 6, we are going to go and sign a number 6. If there are better market opportunities, in the number 8, then we are going to go and sign a number 8. I think the biggest question for me is, what do we actually need in midfield? I think that's what Mikel has got to focus on. Probably, he knows this, but he's also a very good manager, and he's a very good guy in terms of just shifting what the club needs into what he can do, with whatever we have and whatever is available. So I won't be surprised with him to go with him going, I'm going to sign a number 8 in this window, turn Declan Rice into a number 6, or probably play with 2 number 8s in Declan Rice and maybe Mikel Merino or Eze, and then turn Martin Odegaard into a typical number 10. I think we are going to see tactical tweaks and tweaks to the system we saw last season. So don't expect that same free-flowing football on the right-hand side. It might continue, but you're going to see a couple of changes, maybe on the left-hand side, maybe in midfield, maybe in defense. I think we'll see a couple of changes. I think Mikel is a big manager on changes. He's big on making sure that his team is not found out. He's big on making sure that his team is always a step ahead of the other teams, right? So let's discuss the midfield. What is going on? Where are we? Who are we bringing in? Who are we not bringing in? Actually, most importantly as well. And I think most importantly right now is the midfield targets that we are linked with: Joao Felix, Eze, Mikel Merino, Bruno Guimarães in the 6 now. What do these targets actually mean? And why have we let go of the likes of Onana? Why have we let go of the likes of, Douglas Luiz? The ones you would have thought are market opportunities. If we were actually going for market opportunities, Onana would have been a market opportunity. And I've seen a few Arsenal fans on Twitter saying, well, Aston Villa have done a bad deal. Onana for 50 million was always a bad deal. I don't think it's a bad deal, actually. If you're going to go and sign, if you've signed Declan Rice for 105 million, if you're going to sign maybe Guimaraez for 90 million or 85 million, I still don't think Onana at 50 million is a bad deal. I just think that he's a player that has not yet developed into the final product, but under a good manager, under good management, he's going to turn into a much better player. So what do Arsenal need? A 6 or a number 8? Let's start there. At the beginning of this window, Fabrizio said Thomas Partey is expected to leave Arsenal as a new midfielder is expected to arrive. Now, Fabrizio there, in his choice of words, which were very smart, he doesn't actually indicate that Arsenal are going to sign a number 8 or a number 6. He says Arsenal will sign a midfielder, and we know Arsenal are signing a midfielder this summer. But the question is who and in which position? Are we signing a 6? Are we signing an 8? So Fabrizio just said Arsenal will sign a new midfielder, and therefore Thomas Partey will leave Arsenal this summer. It is still a little bit earlier on for us to determine whether Partey is going to stay or not. But by this time last summer, Mikel Arteta had already come out and given us confirmation that Thomas Partey had given him the green light to keep him. And Arsenal, yes, they thought about selling him. Yes, they thought about accepting offers, but the player was 100% locked onto staying with Arsenal. This summer, it's a little bit different. Partey is open to offers. Arsenal are open to offers, and a couple of clubs, especially in the Saudi Arabian Pro League, are very, very excited with the prospect and with the idea of signing Thomas Partey. So if we are losing Thomas Partey this summer, if Arsenal are resigned to the idea that Thomas Partey will leave, that leaves us with one or two options. The first option is to replace him like for like, which is very difficult. You literally cannot go to the market and find another Lodri, another Partey, another Busquets, another Andrea Pirlo, another Clarence Seedorf. You literally just can't go and find such players. They are good, and simply that. You just can't replace them. You just can't go and get another player. So Arsenal can't replace him like for like. And I think the initial idea with Arsenal was, if he leaves, we invest in a player like Guimaraez, we invest in a player like Onana, we invest in a player like maybe Yusuf Fofana. And looking at the way things are going, Fofana is going to AC, Onana is going to Villa, and Guimaraes at the moment is, at least for now, settled at Newcastle. That might actually give us a peek into the future that maybe Thomas Partey stays for another year. Maybe Partey stays for another year, because it's for us. It's to Arsenal's benefit. If you can keep your best number 6, if you can keep your best DM alongside Jorginho, and you bring in an understudy, someone like Onana would have been a good, a good buy. If you're bringing someone to come in and fit in with the likes of Partey in the same system, that would have been a very good buy. So there is a possibility now for me that we can see Thomas Partey stay for another year, and then Arsenal let him go on a free next year, because there are no conversations, absolutely zero conversations between Arsenal and Thomas Partey's come to actually keep him. So the idea is they either keep him for one more year or they sell him this summer. And I think for Arsenal, for them, they're looking at Partey's sell and they're like, how much are we really going to get in Thomas Partey's sell? Because that would really destabilize the system. That would really destabilize, what we want to do as a team. But how much are we really going to get in selling Thomas Partey that we are willing to destabilize our system? The maximum amount of money you can get for Thomas Partey, if it's Saudi Arabia, I think it's going to be 10 million to 15. If it is a European club, you're going to get 10 million and below. So maybe Arsenal are willing to keep Partey and take the losses. That is why Fofana is gone, Onana is gone, Douglas Luiz is gone, and the Joao Neves deal, Arsenal are not even near that deal on that price tag. So Partey stays. I can see Arsenal signing a number 8. I don't have a problem with Arsenal signing a number 8, because again, you need that squad depth, right? You need that squad depth. You need that, I think, layer to your squad, that second layer to your squad. That when you don't have Declan Rice, or Declan Rice has not had a good game, you can bring on a player like Mikel Merino, or you can bring on a player like Eberechi Eze. I don't think we have a very good replacement for Odegaard, like the way we say a backup for Saka always is needed. I think a backup for Odegaard is always needed as well. Yes, Fabio Vieira, we're going to talk about him in this video. Maybe could be that guy, but we are not yet 100% sure that Fabio Vieira is that player. I think Vieira is also creative, but the way he loves to play and the way he wants to play, it's very different from what Odegaard wants to do. I think Odegaard is a natural born football player who just enjoys football, and Vieira is a magician who just enjoys part of the game. He enjoys being in possession, he enjoys creating, he enjoys passing the ball to the final player, but he doesn't enjoy the hard work. He doesn't enjoy chasing and winning the ball back. With Odegaard, you've seen it time and time again. He will win the ball back, and he does it in a very, very joyfully way. So if I was to say, who do we need? Still, this goes back to the Athletics report in May. If Arsenal are sure Partey stays, you can go and do your nonsense and sign a number 8. I don't have a problem. You can go and sign your Ezes. You can go and sign your Julian Brands. You can go and sign your Mikel Merinos, because I know Declan Rice is reliable. There is Partey in that DM role, though it is not reliable, but there is Partey. And I also know that there is an Odegaard. And I also know it's one more year before Arsenal go to the market and sensibly buy a sensible number 6. However, if Thomas Partey is going to go. And for me, this shouldn't depend on Partey, but when I look at Mikel Arteta's perspective, when I look through his perspective, I think he has decided that this depends on Partey's departure, and this depends on the future of Declan Rice. So, and we're going to talk about the future of Declan Rice. So, a number 8 only for me comes in if Partey is leaving, and a number 6 should arrive at Arsenal whether Partey leaves or not. But that's going to depend on what Mikel Arteta thinks and sees as market opportunities. Now, the future of Declan Rice is quite bizarre at the moment because for England, he's had an atrocious tournament. I'm going to be the first Arsenal fan to say this. Declan Rice has been poor at the Euros, and I don't want any excuses. Yes, he's won the ball back so many times, but I don't think that England have really been under real firepower, apart from when they played against Spain. And when they played against Spain, he was absolutely, completely atrocious. But apart from that Spanish game, which other game have England really played and you're like, wow, England have been completely, outplayed? They're just sitting back in shape, and they're sitting back in shape, I would say, proactively. They're not sitting there because a team is pressing them. They're sitting there because the manager has told them, if you're not losing a game, if it's 0-0, it is 1. If you're leading 1-0, go back in shape and protect what you have. So I think Declan Rice in the 6, I'm going to be the first guy to declare this. It doesn't work. I don't think it works. I think with Declan, for him to work well, you're going to have to need smarter players around him, and you're going to need braver players around him. I'm sorry to say that. But I think Thomas Susek, and again, we saw him for Czech Republic, Thomas Susek. He is a braver player on the ball. I don't think he's a much smarter player, but I think he's a braver player on the ball than Declan Rice. I think Partey is a braver player on the ball than Declan Rice. And I also think Odegaard is a braver player on the ball than Declan Rice. And him having Jorginho, Partey, and Odegaard makes him a much better player. I think his abilities of winning the ball don't change. I think his abilities of being one of the best ball winners in Europe do not actually change. What actually changes is when Arsenal require him to play in a position that really doesn't suit him, where he's not comfortable. So, depending on the future of Declan Rice, final answer, Arsenal need a number 6. Yeah, he's not a number 6. I don't think he enjoys the risky stuff like the way Jorginho does. He just eats up the ground. The way Rodri does, just eats up the ground. The way a player like who is my best player at ball progression? Could it be Jorginho? I think it's Jorginho and Partey, ball progression. Jorginho, Partey, and Rodri. Those are my best players at ball progression in Europe right now. And when you look at them, they will receive the ball from the centre backs, kind of, again, and Cruz as well, by the way. They'll receive the ball from the centre backs, and they'll just press on, and they'll just move on, and they'll just travel through the midfield. That is something that Arsenal should have, but we do not have in Declan Rice. And I think Declan Rice last season, 8 goals, 8 assists. We have found the best position for him. And Mikel knows it. I don't think Mikel is a manager that goes, well, I don't think we know what we want to do with him. I don't think that is true. I think as a manager, he knows what he wants to do with Deckers. He knows what Deckers can do. He knows what Deckers cannot do. And number 6, at the top level, he's either still learning or that is not his position. I would play Kobe Mainu in the 6 in terms of ball progression ahead of Declan Rice. The reason is Kobe Mainu is very, very brave. And I think with ball progression in modern football, you're going to need brave players because football has changed to the fact that every aspect of the of build-up is being pressed. The goalkeeper is pressed, the defenders are pressed, the fullbacks are pressed, and the initial midfielders who receive the ball quickly are pressed as well. So that means that with Declan Rice, your build-up is going to be a little bit slow as compared to when you have Jorginho or Partey. So that's where you go and get a player like Bruno Guimarães because he's brave, he doesn't care. As simple as that. He literally doesn't care, right? He will pick it up, he'll drive through the midfield, and he will go and do his stuff. The same reason we are signing Ricardo Calafiori, the same reason I anticipate we wanted to sign Douglas Luiz. So that is my final verdict. Arsenal need a number 6 this summer if we can get it. Now, let's start there. Bruno Guimarães, team news and ticks. Before we get to team news and ticks, by the way, in the last 24 hours, this is a story and this is a player that has been linked with Arsenal by the most reliable outlets you can have in transfers, David Ornstein and The Athletic. And they've said Arsenal admire him, they really like him, but a transfer might not be easy because of the price involved, and especially that £100 million release clause, which is now expired. So Team News Antics has come out and said, now the deal is not dead. Yes, the deadline is over to trigger the release clause, and therefore that means that to sign him, you've got to talk and negotiate with Newcastle. But Arsenal have been given encouragement by the people close to the player, and the players come that the player wants to join Arsenal. That is key. Wants to join Arsenal. Actually, not want to join Arsenal, because I wouldn't say wants to join Arsenal is completely correct. But he wants to join a Champions League club. He would love to play, and he wants to play in the UEFA Champions League next season. When I think about the clubs that are going to afford him, City, 100%. Arsenal, 100%. Chelsea, no. Man United, won't be surprised if Man United do such a deal. But when I look at their transfer strategy, it's between 40 to 45 million. And the reason for that is that they have spent a lot of money on nonsensical deals, like barbaric deals in the past. And now they find themselves with around 200 million to spend on around 5 players. So they've got to go 40 million on a defender, 40 million on another defender, 50 million on a midfielder, maybe 50 million on an attacker, something like that. So I don't see Man United spend 100 million just yet on one proper signing. So Guimaraes wants UEFA Champions League football next season. That is our entry point. Literally, that is our entry point. I still think that, and I've talked to Glenn this, and I've talked about this on this channel 100 times. I still think that Arsenal's best chance at signing a proper midfielder is by signing Bruno Guimarães. He's expensive. He's a bit of an ill-disciplined player on the pitch. He's going to knock players around. He might get a silly yellow card. He might get a silly red card. Those things happen, and I'm not saying I'm supporting them. I'm saying I'm saying they happen, right? I'm saying they happen, and yeah, as long as you you're in the game, you expect them. So for me, Guimaraes is Arsenal's best bet into getting a proper signing in midfield. The other I would have thought about in term if Arsenal did get Bruno Guimarães, the other player I would have wanted maybe João Neves. I really, really like João Neves, but he's so far away from that level. He's so far away from Partey. He's so far away from Jorginho. He's so far away from Declan Rice. You want a player who comes in, fits in, gets you going, and boom, the machine is rolling. And with Athletic saying that Arsenal are looking at signing a player that can play both as an 8 and as a 6 to give Mikel Arteta that tactical flexibility in games, that's Bruno G. He's played as an 8 for Newcastle before. And then when you have, at the beginning of last season, when Sandro Tonali had come in and Sandro Tonali was the guy, so he was playing deeper as the 6, and Tonali was playing as the 8. And you saw Tonali get in the penalty area more. You saw Tonali get a couple of good chances, and even scoring some goals, because that means that you have a player like Guimaraes who is so full of wealth, in him. You can trust him. I think Guimaraes is a player that would transform Arsenal. Guimaraes is a player that would make Arsenal better. Actually, the other player I wanted wasn't João Neves. The other player I wanted was Kimmich. Now, I remember. I think both Guimaraes and Kimmich win Arsenal the Premier League. It's a little bit of an overstatement, yes, I know. But I think Kimmich definitely wins you the Premier League. I think Guimaraes pushes you 98% closer to winning the Premier League. And let me explain. So with Kimmich, you have that experience, you have that winning mentality, you have that pedigree, you have a leader. So he brings much more than Guimaraes. With Guimaraes, simply quality and energy. That is why I'm saying if they dare lose, if they dare lose, if Man City dare lose KDB, and you add Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal, we've added energy, we've added flexibility, we've added power, we've added quality, and we have added longevity to the midfield. So I think Guimarães, yeah, I would like him, but what is the likelihood that we could sign him? The first thing I want to tell you, if Arsenal are going to sign Guimarães, Partey is gone. So all the Partey diehards and your small little parties in the comment section, I know you think I hate Partey. I don't. I really don't hate Partey. But if Guimarães comes in, if Guimarães is coming in, Partey is gone. There's no question. Partey is gone. It wouldn't make sense for you to have Guimarães, Partey, Jorginho, and Declan Rice. By the way, most of them, all those four, could do for you the same role. Because Jorginho playing in the 6 certainly can play in that number 8 role. Partey certainly can play there. Guimarães, he plays there, both positions. Rice plays both positions as well. So if you see Guimarães come in, Partey is gone. And I don't have a problem with that. But the problem I have, and my skeptical part is, can a deal really be struck between Arsenal and Newcastle? I think that is where the real question is. Can we really strike a deal between us and Newcastle? How much? I think they will go for 85 million minimum. Okay, for us, that would be our minimum. For them, that will be their maybe maximum. So I don't think Newcastle are looking at Guimaraes and they're saying we are under pressure to sell and we are going to sell Bruno Guimarães. I don't think so. Yes, they might need to splash some cash in terms of reinvesting in the squad. They might need to get some money in terms of buying some more players. But I don't think that is through selling Guimaraes or Isak or any of those top players, the likes of Steven Bowman. I think what they will do is they'll continue offloading these smaller players. They'll continue offloading these younger players and smaller players, the likes of Joe Willock, the likes of maybe Anthony Gordon could go, Harvey Barnes could go. The surplus players, the players' surplus requirements might leave, but the likes of Guimarães, I think they'll look to keep. They're set to try to keep them. So I think if Arsenal are really going to be serious about doing this deal, it's going to be minimum 75 million, and I think maximum 90 million, around there. So would I take him for 75? 100%. 85? 100%. 90? Questions there. I have questions about signing a player like Guimarães for 90 million. Honestly, he's not a 90 million midfielder. And I know we are desperate, and I know all Arsenal fans are desperate, and they're saying, just go and do the deal, just go and do the deal. I don't think you do the deal at 90 million, and then you say, it was a good deal. It was a fair deal. I don't think it's a fair deal at that price. I don't think it's a good deal at that price. Honestly speaking, it's not a good deal at that price. So Guimarães, yes, I like him. 85 million, maybe 75, maybe 86, maybe, but 90 and above, no, right? And I think for Newcastle, they will look to not to sell. And if they sell, they're going to say, if we eat the frog, we eat the fat one. We eat the biggest frog. And the biggest frog would be 90 million in Guimarães, or even 100 million in Guimarães. I don't see Arsenal spend that money, but we are told the player wants to UEFA Champions League. So that is our entry point. Player wants to UEFA Champions League. Player wants to be part of the UCL next season. Newcastle are not there. Arsenal are there. Is that enough for us to go and do the deal? Well, I think it's enough. If you have UCL, they don't have it. The player is open to joining you. That would be enough, in my opinion. Yeah, that would be enough. Now, is there confusion about the quality? Maybe not confusion, but is there a lack of conviction inside Arsenal in terms of the quality available on the market in the number 6 position? Because we are told by the Athletic that Arsenal were 100% sure and number 6 was their priority. And among the names that were quoted, Amadou Onana was quoted, Yusuf Fofana was quoted, Martin Zubimendi was quoted, Douglas Luiz was quoted, and Joao Neves was quoted. So the question is, how and why have we let all these players go to these other clubs without us giving them a fight, without us showing a fight? Is it because we have our number 6, guy, and we know this is our guy? Onana is not the guy, because I think it was Charles Wetz who reported that Onana was not high on the list of midfielders that Arsenal were looking at. And it's like, you lie. You absolutely lie, because the Athletic David Ornstein had already reported that Zubimendi and Onana were the two players that Arsenal were really sure they wanted, and a couple of other names, of course, the likes of Joao Neves. So I'm going to say this. I won't be surprised if we don't see a 6 at Arsenal this summer, because you let go of Fofana, who would cost like 30 million euros to AC Milan, or even less than 30 million euros, by the way. You let go of Martin Zubimendi. Of course, Martin Zubimendi, yes, rejected Arsenal, so we didn't have much to do. Douglas Luiz, that deal, I'm still asking myself, how did Arsenal put themselves in a very bad financial situation that we couldn't do the Douglas Luiz deal? So we've let go of Luiz, we've let go of Fofana, and recently, Onana joins Aston Villa. That shows you that there is either a clear plan of what Arsenal want to do with their next number 6, or they're looking at all this market opportunity and they're like, there is none. I mean, after all, we've been told that this summer is about hype and market opportunities. So maybe we are looking at this market and we're like, there is none. There is no market opportunity for a new number 6. That would be kind of a lie, but it will also be kind of true. Remember, I'm the guy that doesn't like Fofana. I'm the guy that doesn't like Onana as well. So Joao Neves is too expensive. Zubimendi doesn't want to join us, and Luiz was always going to Juventus because of the shady deal they did with Aston Villa. So maybe the market is not as pleasant as Arsenal thought it would be in that number 6 position. I'm going to leave that there because the number 6 is crucial, but there's nothing really to speak into apart from Guimaraes being one of the players that Arsenal are still eyeing in that position, which is really a positive. Okay, now let's speak into the number 8. Mikel Merino's not transfer process really, but Arsenal have started initial work to sign Mikel Merino today. It's still very, very preliminary stages. We expect the deal to advance very quickly. We also expect the Eberechi Eze transfer situation to be sorted out very soon. Not by joining Arsenal, but Southgate is one of the guys that was not allowing his players to do any transfer talks or to do any transfer negotiations and dealings during the Euros. No wonder they lost. But sorry about that. Eze's situation now is going to be clarified. Tottenham is there, Arsenal are there, and maybe there's another club that is there, but Arsenal and Tottenham are the two priority clubs that want Eze. So, number 8. Do we really need a number 8? Where do we start? Fabio Vieira, right? Because this will answer it. So today, according to transfers.com, this is what they've actually said. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is keen on retaining Fabio Vieira this summer. Football Transfers understands. This comes amid transfer speculation around the 24-year-old's future due to having failed to properly break into the Ghana's side. Okay, thank you so much. That's a good one. So Mikel Arteta is keen to keep Fabio Vieira. And I remember I told you when we were discussing the future of these two, ESR and Vieira. And I said, why do I feel Vieira is going nowhere? why do I feel that Vieira is the guy that Arsenal will keep? And I'm not even surprised at all. Not an inch, right? I'm not surprised an inch that Mikel Arteta has gone, keep Vieira. He's not going anywhere. I think as manager, when he signed him, there is something special he saw in that boy. There's something really that Vieira has. We've just not seen it. And will we see it next season? I don't know. I don't do any scouting for Arsenal. Will we see it the season maybe after that? Again, I don't know. I don't do any scouting for Arsenal. But with Fabio Vieira, whenever he's on the pitch, you feel like you want the ball to come to him. You know, I think he's got that little bit of a David Silva, a Santi Cazorla. You want the ball to come to him, and such players, they always give you that feeling of give him the ball, because they're technically able and they're 100% able to give you to give you that quality. So I think Vieira has got the quality. He's got the quality to create spaces. He's got the ability to fit into small pockets. He's got the ability to bring in crosses from half spaces like Kevin De Bruyne. And if you remember the assist he made for Edin Ketia last season in the 2-2 draw against Fulham, that is what he's good at, right? Yes, all Arsenal fans were really excited about Odegaard playing a similar ball to Kai Havertz against Chelsea. Remember Fabio Vieira? He had actually done it before as the season was starting. So I think Mikel knows that there is absolute cooking oil in this boy, and we are going to use him to cook. But how do we use him to cook? That is a question for Mikel Arteta. So when as this story breaks that Vieira is wanted to stay, right? Mikel Arteta wants him to stay. That now poses a big question mark on three deals. One, Eberechi Eze. Two, Mikel Merino. Three, Emil Smith-Rowe. Those three deals depend on this piece of news, that Mikel Arteta is unwilling to let go of Fabio Vieira and is going to keep him. We know that he plays as a 10. We know he plays as an 8. And we know that he's left-footed. And what has been Arsenal's biggest problem last season? Balance on the left-hand side. We have had a very good season, fantastic season. We almost won the Premier League. We almost cheated our way to winning the Premier League by playing one single lane, the right hand, the right lane. Saka, Odegaard, Vieira, Ben White, and Rice, just shifting themselves to the right hand side and creating magic. So let's start off. Let's talk about Mikel Merino now. I think Arsenal will still sign Mikel Merino whether Fabio Vieira stays or he leaves. The reason is Mikel Merino, for Mikel Arteta, he looks at him as a senior member of the squad. He will bring him in as a would-be senior member of the squad. He's 28, 1 year on his deal, market opportunity, very cheap, right? He's going to cost like 20 million euros to 25 million euros. I won't be surprised if his deal is done like at 19 million euros, because he's got 1 year on his deal and he's 28. So you don't have resale value on him. You don't have, like, you're not going to tell a club that, they're signing one for the future. It is one for the present, and end of story. So with Mikel Merino coming in, I think I don't think he comes in and he plays or starts right away. I think if he comes in to Arsenal, he kind of gives us that role that he's given to Spain whole tournament. I'll give you an interesting fact. Mikel Merino has played every single game. Okay, has appeared in every single game for Spain at the Euros. Can you believe that? Like, I've been supporting Spain, but we played 7 games, and I was like, well, he played like 5. He played all 6. He came on in all 6. And for him, what he does when he comes in games, he's literally a game manager. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta wants. He wants to have a solid defense that can defend 90 minutes. And he wants to have that game management mechanism where he's leading by a goal to nil. He brings on Mikel Merino with Declan Rice, with Thomas Partey, and it's game over. Yes, it is satanic football, but it wins. It wins. And also, Del Fuente has been using it, although Spain have been playing in a very, very interesting fashion. So for me, Mikel Merino is one to watch. One to watch. The Telegraph have said Arsenal have started their process on this transfer. It could speed up. It could by the time we are done with this live stream, we could be talking maybe Arsenal have advanced on personal terms, or maybe Arsenal have inquired the personal terms of the player. I'm so excited, right? I'm so excited to see what's going to come out of there. HATC Football right now are saying, like, it's kind of a breaking story. Danny Olmo's agents have offered him to Arsenal, and he has a 60 million euro release clause. Olmo is a 10. I don't think Arsenal are going to sign a 10. Like 0%. So Moreno, Vieira, yeah, I can see that happen. But the one I don't see happen, and the one that has been really reported as well that Arsenal wants such a player, is Eberechi Eze. So Eze has been one of the leading names in the media around Arsenal and Tottenham. I think the story tilts more towards Tottenham than it does towards Arsenal. I'm not going to lie. I think the story is about Eze going to Tottenham, and then at some point in time, Team News Antiques comes in and says, yes, Arsenal also want him. And everyone inside Arsenal appreciates the player and loves the player. I think with Eze, ESR goes, Eze comes in. English for English, midfielder for midfielder, and Arsenal win. I think it would be a much better win-win. It would be a much better. It would be a much better. What was I going to say? It would be a much better situation if ESR leaves and Eze comes in, rather than having both of them at the club. So I think with Eberechi Eze, the plan is clear. If ESR leaves, we might get Eze. But with Eze, I'm going to say it's a deal that just doesn't strike me as an Arsenal deal. And I think I've said this before. It's a deal that strikes me as a Tottenham Hotspur deal. Like, there's some deals that Spurs do, and I'm like, that is kind of a Spurs deal. Like, I expected them to do that deal. I'll tell you. Right? I'll tell you. Madison last summer. That is a Spurs deal. I kind of felt like it was a Spurs deal. Richarlison. That is a Spurs deal too. Which other deal? Vicario. Like, I can see and I can know a Tottenham Hotspur deal when I say it, right? I can know it when I say it. So Eze to Arsenal, for me, it's in doubt. If you get Mikel Merino either way, I don't think Eze comes in after Mikel Merino. I think Mikel Merino would be the priority and Eze would be the backup. Now, Joao Felix. Where do you categorize Joao Felix? I don't know, right? Personally, I don't know. Where do you categorize Joao Felix? Do you categorize him as a winger? Do you categorize him as a midfielder? Do you categorize him as what? As an attacker, as a forward? Because when I look at him play at times, I'm like, he's a little bit of all. That's what I feel. He's a little bit of all. Now, the recent links with Joao Felix, I wouldn't take them too seriously, right? But again, we have seen some deals that happen out of the unserious, especially if you go back to the Arsene Wenger days. Like, you hear a link, and then it happens. And even Albert Samuel Conga as well, that deal. Didn't think it had 10 legs, didn't think it was going to happen, and then boom, it happens. But I don't think Joao Felix would come to Arsenal as a midfielder, no. I don't think. I think if he comes in as the right winger, stroke left winger, right? Stroke attacker. Yeah, stroke forward. So I think in the for the 8, Arsenal are going to go for Mikel Merino. For the 6, the door is open for Bruno Guimarães. Could we go for both? Could we go for 2? Maybe not both. Maybe not both. Maybe not both Merino and Guimarães. But could we go for a 6 and an 8? Well, that possibility was announced by the Athletic like in June. Mm, do we need 2 midfielders? Really? Do we? Listen, if Partey goes and the club is not sure, is not 100% sure that the guy that they're bringing in is ready and will be able to replace Partey, well, you go for 2. To be on a safe side, you go for 2. Honestly, you go for 2. But also, I'm gonna say this: we don't need an 8 urgently. So a 6 would be enough. And also depends on the kind of 6. If the 6 is a player that can play both positions, 6 and 8, like Guimaraes, you need 1. But if you bring in a guy that is so tailor specific, like tailored for one position, you might need 2, right? If you bring in a guy that only plays 6, you might need an 8 for the future. But I still think that Fabio Vieira staying means a lot. I think Mikel Merino's deal will pick up. It has some legs. It has more legs and stronger legs than the Guimaraes deal. So my overall summation of this midfield fiasco: I think Arsenal are waiting for market opportunities. I don't think we're 100% desperate to go and get a guy that everyone wants, right? I think we're waiting for market opportunities. If the market opportunity arrives and that market opportunity dictates that Arsenal get a 6, you'll get him. If the market opportunity, shows itself and it's for the 8, I think that's where we'll go. I don't think Mikel Arteta is fixated on a particular position. I kind of feel like that would have we would have known that. Onana is just an average player, so good luck to Aston Villa. Therefore, we need Bruno only. That's according to Nelson. I kind of feel like these days in the market, you're actually signing prospect. When did Arsenal last sign a player that you call world class? Okay, when did we last sign a player and you were sure this guy was going to work? Rice, okay. I kind of feel like that was a sure one. Alexis Sanchez, sure one. Aubameyang, sure one. Yeah. And maybe David Raya, by the way, and David Raya. But the rest of the players we sign, they're players that you sign prospect. Odegaard will turn around. Ben White will turn into a good centre back. Julian Timber will turn into a high class centre back. Calafiori will turn into a high class centre back. I don't think clubs are really signing finished products these days on the market. They're going for hype. They're going for hype. So Onana has big hype around him. And I don't think he's average. I think he's raw. I think those two are different. You could be average and raw, which is actually bad, but you could be good but raw. So I'll give you an example who is very good but very raw. Karim Adeyemi at Dortmund. And I think Onana kind of falls into that bracket a little bit. But for him, he's played in the Premier League. Do you know what they're getting? They're getting a guy who's played in the Premier League, and Arsenal fans categorize him as a 6. I don't think that it is Arsenal fans who have to determine where this guy will play in the future, honestly. So we might not even see him play as a 6 for Newcastle. Thompson says, but we need a striker. Yeah, I wanted us to talk about the midfield situation just to get all the clog around. Joseph says, I don't think Arsenal will sign any players this season. Okay, that is I would bet against that, and I know you would lose. Yeah, I would bet against that, and I know you lose. 100%. Listen, I think there's the frustration is there, but there is no cause for loss of hope. Honestly, there is no cause for loss of hope. It has been explained why the market has been slow. It has been explained why Arsenal have been a little bit slower as compared to usual. I don't think I'm bothered actually. I think deals will come. I think, yes, we've been a little bit late, but the squad we have last season should be able to win the same number of games that we won last season. They are young, they are energetic, and they are full of hunger. They're ready to win. So I want to remind you, and I think I've said this before. The plan for Arsenal this summer is not to bring in guys that are going to start every single game. The plan for Arsenal this summer is to bring in level raisers, right? Ceiling raisers, players that will be on the bench, but you can call on to them. Merino, I don't think he starts right away. Yes, Calafiori starts right away. But when you look at all these, we're going to send like 5 goalkeepers. Do you think we're going to play 5 goalkeepers? Really? We're going to substitute goalkeepers? No. Then you think about the forward players that we're looking into. They're not going to start right away. Even the midfield players, if Partey is still there, they won't start right away. So I think there is a transfer delay, and there's frustration, but it hasn't converted yet into Arsenal are not signing anyone. Maybe if you're picking some positions and you're saying Arsenal are not going to sign a right back, I don't think Arsenal will sign a right back. Arsenal are not going to sign a striker. There is a debate there, a huge one. I'm ready to have that one with Glenn later on. Should Arsenal sign a right back, or Arsenal? Should Arsenal sign a striker, or should Arsenal go with a versatile numberless guy, plays everywhere? We'll have that discussion later on. But I don't think Arsenal not signing anyone is right. Okay. Arsenal can't win anything this season without a prolific striker. Okay. We wait for that. Big up to you, Okelo Joel. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for appreciating. Okay. This is Cabo, who says, "What's going on with the Arsenal board? We are not seeing any progressive to the incoming players that they want to bring to the club. Well, give it time. Give it time. I don't think we are we desperate? Are we really? I don't think we are desperate. Are we desperate? Are we desperate for a new signing? Yes, some positions need, but I don't think we are desperate as we were 2020 or 2021. I think that level of squad building is over. And I want to tell you something. I want to say something, by the way. Thank you so much for saying that. I want to say this. You better get used to Arsenal not signing 100 players this summer, because what's happening at Arsenal and what has happened while you have enjoyed, Arsenal signing, Jesus, Rice, Odegaard, all these guys. Arsenal's squad building process is over. So you're not going to see Arsenal sign from after this summer. You're not going to see Arsenal sign 5 players again. You're not going to see Arsenal linked with all these players again. You're going to even have a summer where, summers like Manchester City. There was a summer where they just signed Grealish, and end of story. There was a summer where they just sold and didn't buy. So you're going to have to get used to this. The squad has been built. You have 2 right backs, you have 2 left backs, you have 2 goalkeepers, you have 2 center backs, actually 4 center backs, you have 2 around 4-5 midfielders, and around 4-5 attackers. That team, you don't expect that team to go to the market and still flex the way Arsenal have been flexing, without a defender, without a structure, without a framework, without a skeleton. So I know you are very hungry for transfers, but I'm going to tell you that the January transfer window that happened, where we signed no one, I'm going to make a prediction. This coming January, Arsenal will sign no one. I'm going to make a prediction. That is my prediction. Coming January, Arsenal sign no one. And in the summer of 2025, right, we will be here on this channel. I'll tell you, Arsenal will sign maximum one player. Maximum one player. So you've got to get used to the fact that your team has done enough in terms of buying players and filling the structure and filling the framework. It's now about raising the level. So if Mikel goes to the market and he says, I want to raise the level, and he doesn't see a level raiser at the market, he's well and truly right to say, we are not signing anyone, we are not seeing any level raisers, and he will be right. So just a word of caution. Just a word of caution. Cossy, when do we start out our preseason games? So we'll start our preseason games. Oh, they changed, actually. 25th is the first game we play, and that will be against Bournemouth. Then 28th against Manchester United. Then 1st against Liverpool. So those are the first 3 games we have. Then the 1st August, that is Liverpool. Then I think I need to clarify the other 2 games, because we have Monaco and we have Bayer Leverkusen as well. And all of them. 7th August is Bayer Leverkusen, right? 7th August is Bayer Leverkusen, and 11th August is Lyon. So looks like preseason is near. We're 10 days away from preseason, and I can't wait for preseason. I just enjoy preseason. I just enjoy Arsenal preseason games. They are a little bit more enjoyable than the beginning of the season, honestly, because when you're beginning the season, you're a little bit rusty, and I hate it when a team is when a team is rusty. Okay. How far is Ricardo Calafiori? Bologna needs to make up their mind. If Bologna don't make up their mind, at the moment, we have to wait for them. Honestly, we have to wait for them. The top transfer that I want Arsenal to do is Nico Williams, Merino, and Guimaraez. Williams is going to be very difficult. Williams is going to be very difficult as a deal. This week, we'll get updates, but will those updates favor Arsenal? Maybe, maybe not. It's going to be a very difficult deal, right? Expect at least 1 or 2 updates this week. And that might not even be Arsenal updates. That could be Barcelona updates. So Barca are feeling confident that they are going to get him. Merino, I won't be surprised if that's the other deal that Arsenal do. Guimaraez, the price has to come down. The price has to come down. Tavares has also been announced by Lazio. So doesn't seem like we have been dormant. We've just not done good signings in terms of incomings. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and catch you soon.